I'm Resa. Official title, maid of honor. Unofficial title, best friend / soul sister. I'm lucky enough to have known Megan for all of her life and almost all of mine. I was, of course, very lost for that first 1 year, 1 month, and 19 days before she came along. I think it's really special to have a friendship that's lasted as long as ours has. We've been best friends through all stages of life: the good, the bad, the awkward, the sad, the exciting, and all the days in between that don't specifically stand out. I know that there are many people in this room who have known Megan as she was just as young as I have. If so, you probably remember just as fondly and vividly as I do the various fashion statements that Megan has made over the years. One, however, stands out more than the rest. Raise your hand if you remember. Sorry, Megan?
Red tights.
The red tights. Yes, the red tights. If you didn't have the privilege of experiencing this firsthand, fear not. There is photographic evidence. But for the time being, I will describe it. Megan has always had very curly hair, especially when she was young. Tangy, shout out. But she hasn't always been a fan of her statement do. When she was a kid, she desperately yearned for long, flowing, beautiful, straight hair. Since this wasn't achievable by natural means at the time, Megan tapped into her creative side, taking a pair of bright red tights and wearing them on her head to achieve said desired flowing looks. She wore them for years, and they became an essential part of her identity. Okay, so now you're probably like, cool, Resa, got it. Megan, red tights, curly hair, on the head, got it. Why are you talking about this? Well, it's because those red tights symbolize our relationship. Yeah. Just get ready, buckle up. They were as important to Megan as a kid as her friendship is to me now and always has been. Many common themes stand out, including, but not limited to, fashion, consistency, and security. So first, I'll address the fashion aspect. Megan wore the tights as a fashion statement. She dressed them up with barrettes and hair ties and headbands. There was also a pink pair and a white pair that she would sometimes select depending upon the mood and level of sophistication that day. They were, to her, her hair. They were styled, groomed, and adorned just the way one would do with natural hair. Growing up, and even beyond when Megan wore the tights, we bonded over our love of clothes and fashion. We played dress up in my parents' house. In the basement, we created extravagant outfits that were fueled by our vivid imaginations. Some days we were princesses, other days we were mermaids. Often we were teachers with families and kids, just like our moms. Shout out again. I think it's safe to say there was a weekly wedding that was acted out, and we experimented with several different career choices, always dressing the part. These days, we aren't so much playing dress up per se, although I can say with 100% certainty that Megan looks more beautiful and like a princess today than she ever did in the basement weddings. But we still often send each other texts with pictures of outfits, and we ask for advice. Which sweater with this outfit? Do I wear the blue flats or the nude heels? Is this outfit too much? Though red tights for hair may not make a comeback as a true fashion statement, I've never doubted that Megan and I could count on each other for fashion advice. So next, consistency. Every day. Megan wore those tights every single day for a year. And then for a few years after when the mood would strike her. During that time, you could always count on the fact that if you saw Meg, she would be adorned in her tights. It was a comforting consistency for people around her and for Megan too. She knew that every morning when she got dressed, her tights were a staple of the outfit. Our friendship evokes similar feelings for me. I know that no matter what, Megan and I will always be friends. Of course, as kids, we had our tense moments. When I got one of those iconic 90s, like red and yellow push cars with your feet, we always fought, naturally, about who got to ride in it. And despite my age, Megan was always a little bigger than me.
Still am.
So when it came to physical fights, such as the car fight, she would often win. We would fight over who got to use the my-size Barbie or the more lifelike and desirable baby doll in their fake family when we played house. And it was a constant battle over who would wind up marrying their favorite Backstreet Boy. Not to mention that we never saw eye to eye on who the cutest Backstreet Boy was or the best. And I still stand by my choice of Nick. None of these ever lasted long or drove any sort of significant wedge between our friendship. And at the end of the day, I never had a second of doubt that Megan would always be there for me. I was as confident of that fact as I was that Brian was not the cutest Backstreet Boy. To this day, I can't think of a single time when I didn't know that Megan was on my team, and I never ever faltered from being on hers. Consistency is truly key in our friendship. A big font. Lastly, security. Growing up is hard. The quirkiness of aging is often made more difficult by aspects of ourselves that we don't favor. Though Tangi, still to this day, adamantly stands by her statements that the short curly hair Megan had was adorable, Megan didn't agree. Her stand-in use of tights to represent the hair she desperately wanted was her version of a security blanket. It helped her to feel beautiful, confident, mature, and secure about herself. In this sense, too, Megan is my red tights. I can always turn to her when I need to talk to someone, and I always know that she'll be there for me with honest advice. I've had many friendships over the years that have come and gone, people who served a purpose and were a strong presence for a time, but have since faded away. But I've never had a day in my whole life where I doubted that Megan would be my friend till the end. Cradle to grave and every moment in between, that's the security of a true friendship. But alas, this isn't about me marrying Megan. When we played wedding as kids, there was always a husband, and it wasn't me. And as time went on in Megan's life as a child, she outgrew the tights. She didn't rely on them as her fashion staple. The consistency became less and less until she left them behind altogether. And they were no longer the most important security item for her anymore. She grew up, matured, and learned to let down and embrace her natural hair. She opened a new chapter in her life where she became more confident about herself and learned to love her newly freed hair, the hair that belongs to her and fits her perfectly. So that's why we're here today. Because, bear with me while I make this analogy, while I may be the red tights in Megan's life, Sam is her natural hair. There's no one who can say that Megan and Sam weren't meant for each other. He compliments her in a way that red tights never could, and brings out a side of her naturally amazing, fun, unique, loyal, affectionate, and radiant personality that can only happen when two people are as in love as they are. So, here's to setting aside the red tights in your life and embracing your natural hair. And here is to a lifetime of love, laughter, and happiness. For